Bear with us just a little bit. This is a little out of the ordinary, but consideration of agenda items.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
due to the resignation of our Commissioner Joe Nagel today, being Chair of the County Board, I would like to add nomination of County Board Chair and County Board Vice Chair to the beginning of the meeting agenda after approval of the consent agenda before number 4, building maintenance.
Thank you. It was heard. Someone might make a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
Just to clarify, Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
we're approving agenda with the additions that were just mentioned by our administrator.
We'll start out with the chair and vice chair, yes. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. I think we'll go right into that.
I thought it would be after consent.
Do the consent.
Okay. Any motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a
Second.
second? Second by Commissioner Smalls. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Agendas are approved.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, due to the resignation of Commissioner Joe Nagel being Chair of the County Board, I am asking for a nomination of the Chair of the County Board.
I nominate Commissioner Doug Kruger.
Any other? Okay. Ask for a vote for approval of Chair being Commissioner Doug Kruger.
All in favor?
All in favor say aye.
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 All opposed, same? Okay.
Okay, vice chair. Is there any nominations for the vice chair?
I'll nominate Commissioner Nathan Schmalz.
Nathan Schmaltz has been nominated. Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Is there any other nominations? Hearing none, someone cast a unanimous ballot for
So-
Nathan Schmaltz as
so
vice chair.
moved.
Motion's been made. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and second. All in favor say, any discussion? Hearing none, and all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. So our new chair is Doug Kruger and the vice chair is Nathan Schmaltz.
Congratulations, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, we did not have a second for the chair. We have to redo the vote, please. I'm sorry.
That's,
okay.
I'm glad you caught it.
No
I
big
didn't-
deal.
I didn't.
Nope, we'll
Okay.
do it again. Like you said, it's all me.
Thank you. So we'll just go back and, again, do the resignation of our Commissioner Nagel, Chair of the County Board, asked for nominations of a chairperson for our county board. Are there any nominations?
We got a nomination for Commissioner Doug Kruger.
Any other nominations? All in favor, say aye.
I'll make a motion to cast
Sorry.
unanimous ballot.
There you
I'll make
go.
a motion to cast unanimous ballot.
I'll second that.
Okay, now we can
I
vote.
apologize.
It's all good.
okay.
We're
That's
gonna
why I
get there.
asked
We're
if I
gonna
should
get
have a
there.
script. So
It's okay.
It's all-
I do that once a year, and I'm not that great at it.
It's all good, and I just was awkward to try and bring that to your attention.
Call the vote quick.
Thank you very much.
All called vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Now we're
you.
official.
Now we're
Building maintenance.
good. Building maintenance, Joe.
Good evening. One item for your consideration. Item A, consider approving an estimate from Ziegler Cat out of Minneapolis, Minnesota to replace a water pump on the Government Center generator at a cost of $5,967.19 with funds from the Government Center buildings budget. The generator is no longer covered by warranty. It had a 2-year warranty. The water pump has developed a leak and it's alarmed out for low coolant. Subsequently, we ended up adding 2.5 gallons of coolant to it.
I read it when we did the agenda, and I I mean, they leak faster sitting than they do running. I mean, they are run at periodical times, are they not?
Correct. We run it, we cycle it monthly.
Okay.
So,
And it never happens under warranty, so, and I don't guess it's something that has to be fixed. Wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Motion's been made to approve the water pump replacement on our generator. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Chaska. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Joe. Health and Human Services, Barrett. Hi, Barrett.
Hello, good afternoon. I have 4 items for you today. Number 1 is to consider approving the administrative contract renewal with Woodland Centers Act, Assertive Community Treatment Team for the period of January 1st through January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2028, so a 2-year contract. At a total cost of $60,000 with funds from the Individual and Family Social Services Budget 11-430. ACT is a service model provided by community-based mobile mental health treatment teams. The ACT team's approach is designed to provide comprehensive psychiatric treatment, rehabilitation, and support to persons with serious and persistent mental illness. Persons served by ACT often have coexisting problems such as homelessness, substance abuse, frequent hospitalization, and/or involvement with the judicial system. Services will be reimbursed at a rate of $20,000 per year, billed quarterly for the next 3 years. My apologies, this is a 3-year contract for 2026, 2027, and 2028. This rate is the same rate as our current contract with Woodland Centers.
Are these next 2 paragraphs, is that add-on, is that the explanation for that part of it, or is that a different item? The reason I'm asking is that reimbursement rate of $20,000 per year billed quarterly, that's reimbursement to them, not, we don't get anything, there's nothing back to us.
Correct.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, we will reimburse them $20,000 per year, which will be billed quarterly or 4 times a year.
Wishes of the board? I'll move to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Smalls. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
I think I'm supportive of the request. They're keeping the rate current from what we've been paying in the past, so I'll be supportive of the motion.
Any other discussion? I would just add, yeah, we've gone through this. I appreciate that there was no increase myself, so it's one of them necessary evils, like I say over and over, but that's how we do it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Item 2, consider approving the purchase of service agreement with Brown County Evaluation Center to provide detoxification and evaluation services to referred clients for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, with funds from the Individual and Family Social Services Budget 11-430. Services provided by the Brown County Evaluation Center will be billed at a rate of $500 per patient per 24-hour period beginning at time of admission. McLeod County will receive a discount of $25 per recipient for all amounts paid within 30 days of receipt of the bill. Transportation costs will be billed at 70 cents per mile if the client is unable to provide their own transportation. This is a 5.5% increase from our current 2025 contracted rate.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
question before we move into a motion phase. Barrett, are we satisfied with the cooperation that McLeod County receives from Brown County?
Thank you, Commissioner Schmalz. Yes, we are. We've been in a contract with Brown County for a number of years. They have been very fair and steady for us. Some providers that we have previously contracted have gotten out of the business or no longer provide that service. So Brown County has been very stable for us, and we are very happy with their services. I should note that we do try to bill back for clients who are going to detoxification or rehab services if they are not on medical assistance or a prepaid health insurance plan. So we do occasionally recoup some of those dollars that we pay to Brown County.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thanks, Barrett, for that explanation. With that, I will move request.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Chatska. Any discussion? The only thing I'd add is, I'm glad you added that in there. That's hard to get any stuff paid back, but I
Yeah.
mean, I know there is an effort to get that paid back.
Yeah, just for example, to note, year to date, as of today, we've paid Brown County Evaluation Center about $66,000. Of that $66,000, we have billed our clients about $27,000. And year to date have recaptured $19,000. So
In today's world, I guess that's not too bad.
we're trying our best, yep.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item 3, consider approving the renewal of the shared services agreement with the Southwest Minnesota Adult Mental Health Consortium, or the Southwest 18, for 2 full-time equivalent regional housing specialist positions for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, with funds from the Individual and Family Social Services Budget 11-430. The Southwest 18 will reimburse McLeod County for all salary and benefit costs incurred. So this is a contract renewal. We've had these housing specialists that McLeod County employs because with the Southwest 18, our director is on her own private contract with the consortium, and we recoup all salary and benefit costs. As a reminder, we are also the fiscal host for the Southwest 18, so we do generate revenue that way as well.
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead, Commissioner Smalls.
And Barrett, if you can give us a little bit more of the workings of this, like are we adding staff, or are we just contracting staff?
We are just contracting staff. So we already have the 2 staff in place that sit on Leah Lundgren's team. She supervises them, but also works directly with the executive director of the Southwest 18, Kimberly Holm, to advise and support. We're basically doing the admin, the HR, the benefits, that type of thing.
Very good. Thank you, Barrett. With that, I'll move request.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. Discussion? The only question I have, this hasn't changed from last year. We had quite a discussion last year, I believe. We assumed the
Fiscal host?
fiscal host.
Yes.
And that was the longest discussion. That's all that that's basically, we're just renewing from what we have done.
We're basically just renewing those 2 housing specialist positions. We used to get a little bit more revenue or charge a % on top of their salary and benefits, but now that we're getting 3.5% of the consortium's total grant, we worked with Colleen and felt that if we were to do that, that would be double dipping somehow. So we'll be bringing in, let me see, I had that number. By being the fiscal host this year and next year, we will make about $150,000 by being that.
We had an extended conversation on this
Yeah.
last year.
And that's going really well.
My question, nothing's changed.
Nothing's changing there, no.
So I'm
no.
fine with it.
They're established workers, they've been with us for a long time, no concerns.
Hearing no other discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
My final request tonight is to consider approving the contract renewal for services with Richard Decker for adult and children's mental health clinical supervision. My apologies for that spelling error there. For the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026, at a rate of $128 per hour, not to exceed 90 hours, or the equivalent of $16,380, with funds from the Individual and Family Social Services Budget 11-430. Minnesota State statute requires clinical supervision and signed care plans for adult and child mental health case managers to provide services and bill medical assistance and managed care plans for the services provided. This is a 3% increase to the hourly rate from our current 2025 contract. If you'll recall, we used Richard for our adult case management, and we had a different provider for our children's case management. That contract did not work out for us, so we gave a 30-day notice, and we're going to be using Richard exclusively for both adult and children in the coming year.
And I guess my question then, nothing there has also changed other than we're having just the one contract rather than two, is that correct?
Correct. His rate is increasing by 3%.
3%.
Yep.
Wishes of the board?
Move to approve.
Second.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright and seconded by Commissioner Schmalz to approve the renewal of the contract. Any more discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Yeah, happy that we have basically a local contractor available to fulfill the need that is before us today, so appreciate that.
Thank you. Hearing no other discussion, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mark, Environmental Services.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
One item for your consideration tonight, and that is to consider approving preliminary plat 25-02. That is a preliminary / final plat. 25-02 is requested by Todd Sunheimer, 11227 North Sunset Drive, Hutchinson, Minnesota. This request simply is combining Outlot B and Lot 6, Block 2 of Bench Shores into one lot. Both lots are adjacent. Both lots are owned by Mr. Sunheimer. This area is located in the southeast quarter, the southwest quarter, Section 12 in Collins Township. Collins Township did hear this request and made a request to approve on October 9th, 2025. The McLeod County Planning Commission heard this request on November 19th, 2025, and unanimously recommended approval for this. As part of this application, one thing that's not on the agenda for the verbatim is in regards to, there's a easement that is appointed with any plat along the common line between two adjoining lots. So the outlot and Todd's buildable lot, Lot 6, Block 2, there is a drainage and utility easement that is vacated as part of this plat, and it is noted on that plat. So just so you are aware of that. To our knowledge, there is no improvements in that easement area, so it's a simple vacation of that, and the perimeter would still be intact. The easement on the perimeter of the entire Lot 1, Block 1 of the new plat, that easement area would be intact.
So that means that the dividing easement goes away, but the easement is still around.
That is 100% correct. Yep.
I just gotta be simple.
Yep, no, I'm
Thank you. I mean, and I appreciate, I see he's here and I'm a stickler about getting these in front of the board, so it's already went through the townships and our planning and zoning, so I appreciate that. Wishes of the board?
Mr. Chair, as noted, it just cleans up the lot layout, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Chatska. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Go ahead.
Appreciate the work that the Planning and Zoning Committee has done to bring this before us today. Thank you.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You bet. Have a good evening.
All right, good evening. Item A, consider adopting Resolution 25 CB 24, resolution of support to sponsor the Township of Hutchinson in pursuit of 2025 local road improvement program funding for the Highway 7 frontage road project. The local road improvement program was established to assist local agencies, including counties, cities, and townships, with construction costs for local projects. In 2025, the legislature appropriated $47 million in general obligation bonds, of which $5 million is designated for grants to townships for construction anticipated in 2026 through 2028. The LRIP establishes 3 project categories for eligibility: trunk highway corridors for local road improvements on state highway projects, rural road safety for county highways, and routes of regional significance for county, city, and township road projects. Non-state aid cities and townships must have a county sponsor to apply for LRIP funding, and the county would have to act as the fiscal agent if the project is awarded funds. Townships and non-state aid cities will be responsible for all costs above the awarded LRIP funding, included but not limited to construction, engineering, and right-of-way costs. If awarded funds, the townships and non-state aid cities will also need to maintain the roadways for the life of their improvements.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
I had attended a meeting last year with the Hutchinson Township, the businesses that are affected here, and Andrew. And this roadway is a bit of an orphan as it stands, but is very important to the businesses that are using it, that's for sure. So I'm glad to see that that we can at least consider offering some assistance there, because there doesn't seem to be a lot of options for those individuals. So I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Discussion. Again, what does this actually mean? I mean, this puts it, are we going forward with it? I mean,
So the township is going forward with a grant application. In that grant application, they need county board resolution of support for the project.
oh, this is the kickoff? Okay,
Yep,
because
yep.
it's not under my watchful eye or anything, but it's been brought up to me several times, and I'm glad to see it at least with seems like a fair resolution to move forward with.
Yep, and item C, B and C are also resolutions of support for the city of Winsted and Collins Township for projects for this grant program.
Okay. As far as we have is there any more discussion on this resolution? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. B.
Item B, consider adopting resolution 25CB25, resolution of support to sponsor the city of Winsted in pursuit of 2025 local road improvement program funding for the Zion Avenue Improvement Project.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead,
I'll move
Commissioner
resolution 25CB25 as presented.
Smalls. Motion made by Commissioner Smalls to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cheska. Discussion? The only thing I have to say is, I mean, we've talked about this for a while, and I'm glad it's moving forward too with the help of that fund. So, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. C.
Consider adopting resolution 25CB26, resolution of support to sponsor the Township of Collins in pursuit of 2025 local improvement program funding for the 85th Street project.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cheska. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. D.
Consider approving the purchase of two 2027 Mack tandem chassis from Nuss Truck and Equipment of Roseville, Minnesota at a state contract price of $345,163.52 plus tax, with funds from the highway equipment maintenance budget. Individual prices for each truck chassis is $172,581.76 plus tax. These trucks are in the 2026 and 2027 replacement plans. One truck is expected to be delivered at the end of 2026 and the other one early to mid-2027. Approving both trucks now allows us to keep a spot on the build list schedule and locks in the model year 2027 pricing with Mack and Towmaster. Mack has changed its ordering process since COVID. Now they only take orders when a build date's available. You have to get on a wait list. And once a build date becomes available, then you have the option to sign a contract and lock in that spot. We've been on this list since 2023 and have now been notified that our build dates are available. These trucks would replace two 2006 Sterling trucks with about 140,000 miles each. Certain Sterling parts are obsolete, and the spreader controls on these trucks do not have replacement parts. So when they break, we have to upgrade them to completely new systems, which is costly and time consuming. They will be over 20 years old when we rotate them out, and they do have a lot of fatigue and corrosion on them because they live a very tough life in the salt as we're plowing snow. Another a point here is that the Sterlings average about 2.5 to 3 miles a gallon, or the max average about 2.5 to 3 miles a gallon better than the Sterlings do.
Wishes of the board?
Question, Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Andrew, are these the super truck versions, or is these straight plow trucks?
These are straight tandem plow trucks.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair,
Go ahead.
this follows our typical rotation of trucks, and I think we all know the problems with the Sterlings within the fleet, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Discussion? I also would concur. You've been in touch with the board on different things. We had a workshop a couple years ago, and I think I had a longer statement back when. We're trying to eliminate the Sterlings for good reasons that you already stated, plus the mileage. We had some numbers on that here a couple years ago, and it is quite a savings. Otherwise, I might try to get more extended life out of them, and then as far as the super trucks are concerned, we had that discussion as well. That's on your radar as far as, utilizing that part, the tractor part of a truck, so I'm happy with that. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Item E, consider approving the purchase of 2 equipment packages from Towmaster Truck Equipment of Litchfield, Minnesota at a state contract price of $407,676 plus tax with funds from the highway equipment budget. The individual price for each equipment package is $203,838 plus tax, and that brings the total price for each fully equipped snowplow chassis with equipment package up to $376,419.76.
Move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Open for discussion. We can't control all of the prices, which they're hard to swallow, but they're necessary. It's one thing I get a lot of good reports on is our roads are passable when we have storms, so hopefully we won't have any of those. But with that, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Andrew, do we get to name it?
No.
No naming of the snowball.
You might be able to talk me into it.
Good evening.
Good evening.
You ready for me? Got a few
Go ahead.
items today. Okay, all right. So item A is considering approving the memorandum of agreement for the employer-sponsored health insurance contribution and health savings account contribution with the Law Enforcement Labor Services, or LELS, non-licensed sergeants, local number 329, for the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Mr. Chair.
Board,
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead.
Commissioner Nagel and myself serve on our union negotiations committee, and I can recommend that we approve the request, and so I'll move the request.
motion been made by Commissioner Smalls to approve the memorandum of agreement. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item B is to consider approving a request reviewed by the Personnel Committee to adopt the Minnesota Paid Leave, or MNPL, policy additions to the McLeod County Personnel Policy. These policy additions keep McLeod County in compliance with the upcoming MNPL program that impacts Minnesota employers and takes effect on January 1st, 2026. Just as a reminder for the board and the public, this is obviously something many folks are aware of and are talking about. We have discussed the Minnesota paid leave that's taking effect on January 1st, 2026 in 3 workshops on March 18th, October 21st, and November 18th. This again is a state-run program. It's a partial wage replacement, and all of that will go through the state. There's been additional information in the packet along with the policy changes that were reviewed at the previous workshop.
Wishes of the board? We have to do it. I mean, that's just not the point. I think we're as transparent as we can be. My personal feeling is that it'll implode under its own weight, but I mean, it's like, we gotta try it and see how it works before we see if it's any good. But with that, I guess it's just something we have to do. I mean, we can't get out of it, so I'll make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion's been made by myself and seconded by Commissioner Wright. Any more discussion?
I just have one question. Are you splitting that, the 0.44%?
That's the intention of the county. We have the 0.88% premium will be split between the employee and the employer.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of other moving parts that don't include right now whether we're accepting the policy, but I mean, there's some other moving parts in there that, I mean, that we are not clear on, that we talked about in the workshop, as far as that if somebody's utilizing this, they're gonna have to pay their own premiums, that type of thing will all be spelled out
That's all in the policy.
actually when we get them. I mean, I don't even see how that all works, but
Yep, that is all included in the policy, that folks will be paying that, as well as the premium for their health insurance. Those kinds of things are included and
yeah,
spelled out.
I'm not saying my position just as an employer. I don't think it's gonna be, once it's all tried out, I'm not sure that the consumer is gonna like this any better than the employers, but we'll see.
One commitment I can say to the board is that I'll be tracking this very closely within the HR and payroll team. We just had a meeting today just around, what this looks like. We'll make sure that we're doing updates of the workshop and kind of what we're seeing and how it's impacting us.
Well, it's not just us, it's all our small businesses. I mean, as far as McLeod County is concerned, we're not approving it for McLeod County, we're doing it for our people, but I mean, it's got its challenges all the way across the board, so. Thank you. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you. Item C is consider approving a request reviewed by the Budget Committee and Personnel Committee to add 1 social worker within the Developmental Disabilities Unit position in 2026. This position is included in the 2026 budget. Increased referrals and eligibility for waiver services have created caseloads above recommended levels for existing case managers. This position will help meet statutory service obligations and is 100% reimbursable. Again, this has been reviewed by the Budget Committee in the 2026 budgeting process. It was also reviewed by the Personnel Committee ongoing, and most recently, again, reviewed in November of 2025. And this is, again, 100% reimbursable.
I was gonna say, Mr. Chair, but I guess I am the chair, and I wasn't looking forward to this. I wasn't looking forward to this, cause I can't get behind this. I'm on budgets and I'm on, personnel, and the state of Minnesota's affairs are so upside down. I don't trust one bit of anything is getting reimbursed, and I have a number of questions that I don't even know if they're answerable, but I have the figures here from the state demographer. McLeod County's population is not rose. I don't know, where are these customers coming from? Or I shouldn't say customers, clients. But I'm just not gonna go around in circles. I've done it a number of times. I think everyone knows my opinion on it. I don't trust the state of Minnesota. I think they better get their finances in order. I don't know where all their money is going, and that's what reimburses these policies, and it's not, obviously, it's not our people's problem. I wish they could take the money and go to SSIS or whatever the right acronym is for there. That would help our Health and Human Service Department more than anything, but I guess that's pretty much my feelings. I don't know if the rest of the board got any questions or comments?
Mr. Chair, I guess if I could, just a little bit, I know this is included in the board packet. There is a little information there specifically about what these positions do. So the social worker who works with, again, folks with developmental disabilities. They provide case management for home and community-based services waivers. One thing I can say is that this unit has been carrying extremely high caseloads for many, many years and has been trying their best to stay at the number of staff members they have, and have gotten to a point where they're not manageable and they're not being able to meet that increased referral and eligibility. I can also just state that we've had some turnover because of the high caseload numbers. And so it speaks to a bigger issue around needing to be able to manage those numbers.
Again, I can add that when we first received this request, it's been a long while. I mean, a lot of things have changed, especially, again, I hate to keep referring to the state, but our state is, right now, is in Health and Human Services, I mean, it's virtually billions of dollars missing. And I just can't, I can't add to that problem. So, I mean, that's my wishes to the board. They can speak up. They're not gonna hurt my feelings any more than the state does.
So, Mr. Chair, so I don't have a lot of background information on this, but you bring up some really good points. I'm wondering if, just to maybe refresh all of our perhaps knowledge of the org chart of everything that's affected here, maybe if we would see that at our next workshop. And then the first meeting of 2026, we could actually make a motion on this then, because of, the conversation and concerns. And so with that kind of a plan, I guess I'll make a motion to table until the first meeting of next year.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to table until our first meeting in January, and I'm just, that's a pretty full meeting. Do we have to appoint that day, or do we have time, and even if we don't, do we have time to work it in? I don't have a problem with it. Just want to make sure we don't have to change it.
I would think after we would have an opportunity to visit about it at our next workshop
Okay.
on the 18th, we should be able to make a cleaner decision on this the first part of next year.
Okay, again, the motion's been made to table till the first meeting in January. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Any discussion? The only discussion I have is that some of the questions that I would like to see, we're not a sanctuary county. I'd just like to make sure that our clients are vetted properly, and if that is a problem, getting them vetted properly, I'd like to have that stated at the meeting, that it would help, because by some of the number of things that are going on in the state, there's a number of people that are making themselves eligible and are not eligible. So I mean, those are the kind of questions that I would like to review at that workshop. So with that, any other discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of tabling it till the first meeting in January, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
My assumption is item D, if we can go through it. Would you like me to go through that, or?
Honestly, I think that we should hold this item exactly the same. So I'll make a motion to table item D, similar to C.
And I'll second it.
Motion's been made by Commissioner Wright to table D. I don't see a number here. But anyhow, item D for the first, pardon me? 8D will be tabled until the first meeting in January. Any more discussion? Hearing none? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Attorney's
Thank you,
office. Steve?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Commissioners. This is a request from the County Attorney's Office to consider approving the renewal of the MNCCC County Attorney's MCAPS case management system. This is our existing system. This is a budgeted item out of the IT information technology budget. This is our existing system. The plan is is so that we have an existing case management system until the transition to the new vendor is complete. This was planned, it was budgeted. I would ask the board to consider approving this request and also allowing the county attorney to sign and submit any documents necessary to facilitate the renewal of this license.
Again, I think I basically understand it, but can you, just in layman's terms, what does this do?
Okay, our existing system is the system that we use to charge criminal complaints, handle juveniles, handle child protection. It generates the documents, it submits them to the court. It's where we put our files. So like if the commissioner needs assistance on a civil project, it goes in there. It generates all our documents that we submit to the court for criminal court. That's our existing system. We just want to continue to be able to use that until the transition to the new vendor, which the board approved out of different funds. We just want to be able to continue to use and have an existing case management system that lets us do our job.
Is there a timeline in there?
Yeah, that's built in. This is set up to be a one-year agreement with the transition to the new software system. We're already working with the new vendor, and there's go-live dates and project management going on almost on a daily basis.
Thank you, Steve. Wishes of the board?
Just one question, Mr. Chair. I'm
Go ahead.
assuming that this has been vetted with Matt, our IT director, since we're dealing with software, so.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And this specific request and these renewal documents came from IT.
Thank you. Move to approve.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve. Is there a second? I'll second it. Any discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Okay, that brings us to county administration. How are we fixed for time? No, I mean, we're good, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, as long as we don't start too.
We have in the past to just skip the calendars, but as long as we're good for
Yeah,
time.
you're good,
We're good.
you're good, sorry.
All right, I'll start out with Commissioners' calendars. Since the last meeting, we have had, or I've had a meeting with AMC on our upcoming conference here actually next week on some legislative items that are coming forward. I also had a MRF committee meeting on the 21st. We discussed our elevator project over at the MRF. I also attended the TNT rehearsal that we had here, and also did a little discussion on our elevator project. I had an HRA meeting on the 26th. The basic discussion there is we're doing really good as an HRA, filling our rooms or our facilities because of reasonable rent. And I mean, obviously, we're short. We've figured sideways and backwards and on as far as trying to invest in some newer housing. And if we did, we're priced, we just can't afford to continue doing what we're supposed to doing. So, I mean, it's something we continue to look at about getting some housing, additional housing, because there is a need. But with that, we just look at it, and that brings us up to, I did the agenda review, and that brings us up to today.
Okay, after our last board meeting, had our workshop, then that evening, our extension committee met where we did the annual reviews of our horticulture specialists, livestock specialists, crop specialists, and also our regional director. And these positions have been, we have this tri-county relationship with both Wright and Meeker County, and we're very lucky here to be covered by the gifted individuals that fulfill these 4 roles and do a super job. Some of my meetings are quite similar to Commissioner Kruger's. We did have a MRF meeting, and then we had our Truth and Taxation Planning meeting to get our data and our organization in place for this evening. And then a very quick budget meeting talking about our next item here on our agenda. And that's it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner Wright, and I'll be brief as well. After our board meeting on the 18th of November, we held a workshop here at the Government Center, and then that afternoon I had a well-being committee meeting. And then on Thursday, November 20th, I had a UCAP Joint Powers Board meeting in Redwood Falls, and that brings me to today. Thank you.
Well, I missed the last board meeting, but before the 2 weeks before that, I was pretty busy. I had quite a bit of meetings between PACT and CHS that there's things that they're working on at CHS that is requiring a little bit more of my time. So there was actually 2 meetings in one day. But so Nathan also covered for me after the last meeting. I missed the last meeting as I had some personal time, and then with the holiday last week, I didn't have any meetings. But when I missed the last meeting, I was extremely disappointed because the GSL FFA group came in, and so Doug was at the presentation last week that they had at the high school. I can't remember if that was Tuesday or Wednesday, but they did about an hour-and-a-half presentation for the entire school, and then they actually did about an hour's worth or 45 minutes just for the community members that came and watched their presentation and stuff. And let me tell you that those kids are so upbeat. It's 135 members, so I was extremely impressed with them and very glad that I got to go and watch that. So that's all I've got.
Thank you, Commissioner, for bringing that up. I actually I forgot about it because we had the presentation, but I mean, the gym was full because they had the whole, the school was all there. I just hope the public realizes that they're first in the nation. This is really big for us. I'm just so, I don't have a vested interest in these kids, but other than they're in our community, and I'm just so proud of them. They're kind of what makes our jobs worth it. I mean, to know that we've got some young kids coming up, and you're right, they're upbeat, and they had some news media there, and they've been getting little coverage on the local news, but I just hope our locals don't forget that. I mean, they're first in the nation out of how many chapters, Paul?
Yep.
I was gonna say
it was
10,000,
under 10,
but-
yep.
Yep. But I mean, that's impressive.
Very impressive.
Steve, or Attorney's Office, do you have anything else?
No, Mr. Chair, thank you.
Sheila?
Thank you. Item A, review the McLeod County Environmental Services Elevator Project Update and consider approving the following contract bids for the project at a total cost of $332,260 with funds from the solid waste budget, which we also went over during our county board workshop before the meeting, if you were in attendance. Item A, Yamri Construction Incorporated from St. Joseph, Minnesota, $159,500. Item B, Aerolift of Minneapolis, Minnesota, $129,990. Item C, Design Electric Incorporated of St. Cloud, Minnesota, $33,770. Construction management fees and general conditions with Contegrity Group is estimated at $87,240.20. Architect and engineer fees and reimbursables with Widseth is estimated at $37,052. Fire suppression and HVAC are estimated at $9,000, and the building permitting plan review is estimated at $7,500. A contingency amount of $58,041.18 is also built into the project for a total estimated cost of $522,093.38.
Wishes of the board?
Well-
I have a couple things that I mean, this has been a struggle for me. Mainly because the amount of money, not because of, the need of the elevator. And after some, several meetings that we talked about and how it will work in the building and again, it belongs, this elevator belonged to the Murph building, and the money basically comes out of abatement fees, so there's certain reasons we have to do things the way we do. But, being it's not levy money, and I guess it's not gonna be, get any cheaper, I'm leaning to be in support of, I wanna listen to what the rest of the board's got to say, but I'm leaning towards the support of putting in the elevator. The rest of the board can chime in anytime.
Why don't we have, before I begin, why don't we have these guys just kind of give a brief outline of the expectations of the project or what's, of the plans, just to kind of give a little bit of a verbal explanation for those that would happen to be watching online, so.
Yeah, the plan moving forward upon approval tonight would be to send this off to the city of Hutchinson for a plan review and eventual building permit. If approved, we would start construction activities sometime in early 2026. There is a little bit of a lead time with the elevator equipment that's out there, so we would turn around and start the demolition process, get the shaft built, and then it would be a lull in the action until the elevator equipment showed up, which would be 5 to 6 months down the line. So that's going to put that elevator potentially online somewhere into June or July of this coming year.
I apologize, I've been working with this so much, and I really wasn't ready for everything that happened tonight, but so, as far as the people that are watching, we were basically talking, our Murph building in Hutchinson, has environmental, it has Health and Human Services, WIC, and a few other things in there. And the upstairs, it has only 2 staircases, so this is handicapped accessible, however you want to phase it. That is basically what this plan is about. Where we go from here is we've got some things to iron out, but we'll be fine.
Yes, and it provides that elevator by the front entrance of the building, so it's very accommodative to the public coming into the building. And like I said, it provides a means for people that can't transverse the stairs on either end of the building to get upstairs, and it'll be a nice accommodation for those people visiting that building, needing
And as
those
a
services.
county official, and you can chime in here as well, I mean, that's a good building. The structure of that building is a good building. I mean, we foresee a lot of good use out of that building, and I'm pretty guarded to the funds that we're using to pay for this because, I mean, it sounds like money, but if something that ever goes sideways in the recycling garbage world, that isn't a lot of money. The commodity markets are not where they were, so that's why that was my. I mean, I really had to give it some hard thought. I mean, $500,000 is a lot of money to me, so I think, but I think it does add to the
Mr.
building.
Chair, I just wanted to note a couple of things that the commissioners have helped us work on and with Contegrity. The past plans that we tried to put into place took out different space and they eliminated restrooms. This plan completely avoids that. A restroom I mean, it was the only restroom on the second floor and the main one by the main entrance on the first floor. It would have at least been $100,000 to replace them, even move them over. Probably much, much more.
It's been a large investment in time, actually. We've met over there a number of times, and thank you to the county staff involved in that process, because Sheila mentioned that this provides, I think, by far the best traffic pattern, and at the same time, the most economical approach we could provide to get this elevator into that building. So hats off to everybody for the time invested in this thus far.
And for those who don't know, the other thing I wanted to mention is a MRF, is a materials recovery facility, is that, what's the right words?
Yeah,
I
material
wanted-
recycling facility. Yep.
Recycling.
Yeah, we get so good at our acronyms.
We get
here,
used
kind
to, we get used to listening to it, but others don't, so just wanted to remind.
I always look at the MRF as a thing. You know, But I also like to thank you for putting up with me. I'm not always I mean, it's nothing personal, but I'm pretty guarded of where our funds should really go or whether we need them or not.
We've had a good relationship over the years, Commissioner, and you've always stood just tall for your district, so appreciate that.
My input on this, I know that for many years, we thought about how to perhaps make it so it's easier for people to get between the floors, and it wasn't until recently that we saw the number of what it's gonna cost, and it is substantial. However, do we need it today? I think is a little bit of a variable question. I think the staff that we have there have done a fantastic job to take the facility as it is and make it work. But I start to look at 5 years down the road, 10 years down the road. I think this idea is just gonna continue to resurface until we finally get those 2 floors that we can put people up and down without having to use the stairs. And so in the end, I am in support of moving ahead. I think that in the long run, this is definitely the right thing to do for that building. We talk about being able to get, members of the public that we serve up and down where we need them. We also could someday have employees that are not able to use the stairs and need to get up and down as well, and that's a limiting factor. So this will take care of that. And I truly feel that our relationship with Pete and Integrity Group is an important part of this as well. You made several building projects with us, and you've kept in mind that we are here to serve the public in an efficient way in your layout. And I feel that we have the right set of eyes to put this together. So I will, in the end, be in favor of the project.
Mr.
Go
Chair.
ahead.
Likewise, from me, I'll echo the same concerns that Commissioner Wright has brought forward. I look at it as utilizing a building that already exists, and I've toured the upstairs. I think that space can be utilized, maybe not immediately, but certainly in the future. So, noting that, I'll be supportive of the motion when we get it before us.
Any other discussion, Laura, do you have anything?
Not really. I mean, I've had some conversations with some people since I've gotten back after the last meeting, when this was on the agenda. I don't know if it was the workshop or the regular agenda, but in my mind, it seems like a good idea if we're utilizing more of the building than what we are, because I've been upstairs to talk with Sarah up there, and it's like she's in her own little boat. So if we can get that all to work, and as long as it's what everybody wants, like, I'm hoping it's not one group wants it and one group doesn't or whatever. I mean, that's my only thing, as long as it's something that they all want to make work. It seems like a great space for it all, so.
Ready for a motion?
Yeah, I'm ready for a
Okay,
motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the project at the $522,093.38 with funds coming out of the 391 account.
Motion made by Commissioner Wright to approve the elevator project. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Any more discussion? Just, I mean, we've all talked about the usefulness of the elevator to the building, but the handicap part of it, or the handicap accessibility is a big part of it too, and that factor will never change. So that's part of my decision too. Any more discussion? Hearing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor of the elevator project, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank
You
you.
guys might want to stay up there. The next item is item B, consider approving the estimate for the McLeod County Century Hall Acoustics Project from Integrity Group at a cost not to exceed $175,000, and authorize administration to proceed with bid letting date for the project.
I'm not speechless, but I'm
What are you gonna go
bring
first?
it up, yeah, you go ahead, I mean,
Sure.
it's, we are having some acoustic problems, and we've been open to them since we've got done, so.
I think, Mr. Chair, when we first went in to do design on Century Hall, we wanted a multi-purpose building that we could have a lot of different events in, and of course be a centerpiece for the McLeod County Fair as well. And I think we've met or exceeded expectations on nearly all levels except for one. It's very hard to hear in there. And that is the continual feedback that we hear, that it's a fantastic building, but there's such an echo with the hard surfaces in there. We were after easy to clean, easy to maintenance, but we also accidentally made it very noisy room to have. And so we then went into the idea of once again working with Contegrity to figure out what we can do with acoustics, and that's what this item is about. Pete did give some ideas at our workshop prior to the meeting about how we can maybe achieve that, but we do need to, get that ball rolling. When we talk about acoustics, there's a lot of opinions of what one person can say is enough background noise or more of it, but we do need to invest some dollars into making that building absolutely great. It looks like it's gonna be a little bit of an expensive investment, but it is needed in order to get that noise reduced. So maybe Pete, if you could just give just a really quick snapshot of some of the things that you'll be looking for when we go out for bids on this.
Excuse me, Pete, just for, again, we talk about it so much, I take it for granted everybody knows, but if anybody's watching, this is our new Century building at the fairgrounds. And, I mean, we did what we could with ARPA funds to make this work, and I hope we continue to do that, but this is what we're talking about for those that weren't sure. But I mean, the building's already been utilized, and is being booked probably as we speak. There's room, there's people wanting to get in to use it, and it was kind of unforeseen. Like Commissioner Wright said, try to make it so you could clean it, and that made it a little worse on the acoustics, so. Go ahead, thanks, Pete.
Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Yes, the building makeup is a post-frame building. With that being said, it's got a hard concrete floor and metal roof and walls. Therefore, the noise inside that Century Hall does reverberate. We've been working with Widseth for some acoustical ideas. They did some reverberation studies, and they're coming up with about 2,300 or 2,400 square feet of sound panel that needs to be added to adequately knock down the reverberation down to something that's more acceptable. With that being said, your approval tonight will at least advance the conversation as far as tightening up the design for allowing us to go out and receive quotes to provide those acoustical panels along with some of the beam features and some of the acoustical wall elements as well, and then bring back a product and a budget for subsequent approval moving forward with that. Been a lot of time invested in that project. It's a very nice building, and I know since we have finished that building, it's received a lot of use and a lot of compliments for the times I've been there, and people from the public have been in it. So it's worth investing into the sound panel side of this, and that's kind of where we're sitting with it tonight.
Mr. Chair? So, I mean, I don't see any harm in, putting out bids for it just to see where we're at. Have we talked about where the money would be coming from?
Mr. Chair, I can comment if you'd like.
I would like you to.
Thank you.
I
So
wasn't sure.
when we allocated the American Rescue Plan Act funds, there was a significant amount allocated to the McLeod County Fairgrounds and
Okay.
Parks. This would come from that balance.
Okay, perfect, thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all with the caveat that we can't. I mean, I'm
Right.
sure we can, and she was good about that, but
Okay.
We had to allocate them by 12/31/2024, which was completed. We have until 12/31/2026 to expend.
Perfect.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve.
motion made by Commissioner Wright to proceed with some quotes and ideas for the Century building. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Seconded by Commissioner Cheska. Any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
you
Thank you,
very
guys.
much for coming tonight to join us for the meeting
Yeah,
and
thanks.
give information, Pete and Joe.
That brings us to the end of the meeting, open forum.
No, it does not. Sorry, we have a
What
few
did
more
I-
items, just a couple of notifications.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. Item C is notification of an electronic transfer of funds in the amount of $8 million from the Minnesota Association of Governments Investing for Counties account to the Core Trust Bank checking account on November 17, 2025 for the November tax settlement payments. Item D, notification of board workshop following the board meeting on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at the McLeod County Government Center here at 520 Chandler Avenue, North Glencoe, Minnesota. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Now we're at the end of the meeting, so open forum. Anybody want to address the board? Press relations, I don't see press. With that, I would look for a motion to recess till our next county board meeting at 9 a.m. on Tuesday, December 16th, 2025 at the McLeod County Government Center, 520 Chandler Avenue North, Glencoe, Minnesota.
Move recess, Mr. Chair.
Motion made by Commissioner Smalls. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Wright. All in favor say, of recessing, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. We're recessed.
Yep.
Always been unclear to that. I know.
Waiting for you.
Good evening, everyone. We'll call the McLeod County Truth and Taxation meeting to order. Consideration, you know what, I'm gonna back up. We're gonna do the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, and we'll look at a consideration of agenda items and a 3-minute time limit on anyone addressing the board, public comment. Motion made by Commissioner Wright. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Commissioner Smalls. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Opening comments, Connie.
Good evening. Welcome to the McLeod County Truth and Taxation meeting. Tonight, we will be reviewing McLeod County data, including the 2025 valuation used for payable year 2026 taxes, the 2026 proposed tax levy and rate, and the 2026 proposed budget. We will also be providing a forum for public comments and discussion. This meeting is not to discuss individual parcel information, whether that is value, classification, or taxes. If you do have questions regarding your individual parcel data, we will be providing time to take your name and contact information for a future call or visit. McLeod County Assessor Sue Schultz will now review 2025 valuation used for payable year 2026 taxes.
The process begins when we view the property. So we determine a value of the property based on markets and characteristics of the property. We are required to review properties every 5 years. In that process, our staff will go out and they will take a look at the property. They will get the building characteristics, the size, the age, what the property is being used for, any kind of extra features, and then we compute the value using a CAMA computerized system. Once we determine that value, the next step we do is compare that value to the market. Any property that sells in McLeod County or actually in the state of Minnesota is required to file it's called the ECRV, it's a Certificate of Real Estate Value. And on that sheet of paper, we'll get what the property sold for. We are required by law to be between 90 and 105% of the market. If we're over that 105, we are lowering values. If we're below that 90, we are raising values. And that dictates how much we raise or decrease. Our sales study period is from October to September. For the 2025 valuation notices, the sales that occur between October of 2023 through September of 2024 is what we use to determine any kind of value changes. New construction is added the following year. It's an important factor that people seem to think that they get added immediately. They do not. If improvements are done in 2024, we add that improved values to 2025, and you pay on that in taxes in 2026. The spreadsheet up here on the screen shows the value, the ratios that we were at. So these ratios is the result of what our value is to what the sale price came in at. The first screen that we're looking at here is all the townships. We have the agricultural sales ratios for each township, and then residential, commercial, and then if there's any industrial or apartments. The ratio is what we look at. On agricultural is the only one that is handled differently, where they look at the township or the county as a whole. We do not look at individual ratios within the township on agricultural land unless they have at least 6 sales. That 6 sales is what our guideline is at. Any taxing district and any classification that meets that 6 sales threshold, we are required to change. If it's under that, we can take it under advisement and maybe make changes, but we're not required to by the Department of Revenue. If you look at this, for the most part, our ratios, we're doing pretty good. We had to go up in Acoma because they rate that 6 sales ratio. Hutchinson Township and Helen Township for residential wise. We are right at roughly that 100%. And that's it for the residential side of it. For agricultural, our overall ratio was roughly 100 and a little better than 105, so we did actually go down a little bit on our ag land this year. So the next screen just shows our cities and what has happened in there. They do not have agricultural sales at all, so we do not include that in this spreadsheet here. On residential wise, we went up in Broughton, and then Lester Prairie saw a significant increase, as well as Silver Lake, as well as and Stewart. Otherwise, there are some minor adjustments in the rest. And then the commercial part of it, we rarely get enough to have 6 sales. So we didn't make any significant adjustments in commercial. We did adjust a little bit because those even though those ratios are poor, they didn't meet the 6 sales threshold, and we did not have to make any adjustments. So this is the percent change that we did. So like I said, agricultural went down roughly that 6%. When you look at overall, in the townships at least, there were some very minor changes on the residential side. The commercial industrial is a little bit touchier on the township side. There's not a lot of them, so any kind of change, whether we gained commercial or lost commercial, can skew those percentages. It doesn't mean that, like Hassan Valley shows 11% increase. It doesn't mean that we went up 11% on commercial in the township. It meant that there's a property that probably was residential that went commercial. And then on the cities, you can see the percent change. Like I said, you can see where the significant increases were at due to the market. There again, very minor changes on the commercial and then very little on the apartments. Overall, on an average for the county, agricultural went down that 6%, residential went up about 4%, and commercial 3%. And like I said, that's through the county as a whole. So this is a 5-year comparison. You can see agricultural was jumping pretty good. We did a correction this year where we went down slightly. The rest of them on the average 8, 3, and 8. We were seeing for a while there's some significant increases on residential. The market seems to have stabilized. We're still seeing some increases, but not the significant ones that we had been seeing in the past. The value, the budgets sets your levies. That sets your dollars that the taxing districts need. Your estimated market value is your share of that budget, of that burden. What I always say is that the budget is the pie, your value is that share of that pie. And that's based on your classification, it's based on your value, and it's based on class rates that the state determines. So even though your value doesn't necessarily determine your tax, the budgets do, your value does determine your share of that tax. For tonight, your values are set. They were set as of June. The appeal process for your values were done this spring. You get your valuation notice in March, and the meetings are held in April, and then the county board is in June. Once that county board of equalization is passed, the values are set for the year. So tonight, we are not allowed to make any changes to your value, but we certainly be willing to meet and talk to anybody if they have questions on their value. But any changes that we would make would not get into effect until the 2026 assessment. So at this time, I usually go to the room next door. If anybody wants to have any comment, or they can do so. Otherwise, if you want to come with me to talk about values, I'd certainly be willing to do so.
Is there some, we've always broke up other times, so who's here on values? You are? Okay, and so is he.
Right, at this time, we will accept public comment. Are you going up or are you going with her?
Just one question, Sue, before we leave. When you you say valuations. Do you get the valuations from the state of Minnesota, and then you're looking at the 90 to 105%?
No, the values that we get are determined by the sales. So the
Okay.
sales we get from the title companies.
Okay.
When anybody buys a property, those ECRVs, a certificate of real estate value, comes to us from the title companies. The
Okay.
state monitors what we do.
Okay.
So if we don't meet that 90% threshold, they will come in and do it for us.
Oh,
So they do monitor, they get a copy of the certificate of real estate value. They can, one of the other processes that there are some sales that are disqualified. They determine that they get the final say on whether or not they're a part of the study or not, and they do monitor everything. But the changes that we make is because of the sales that come through.
okay. That was one question. Then the other question, is there any consideration given to the age of the resident or commercial property?
Well, certainly, we have a depreciation schedule that we use.
Okay.
So
And is that available to see
well, we actually are in the process of changing it right now.
for
We
the
are-
better?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. But what that will happen then is what we can do is have somebody come out to your property, and they can go through everything, and they can show you what the depreciation that we have on your property, and certainly go through it with you, and go that route.
Just so you commissioners understand, most of our phone calls are, the house is 50 years old or 60 years old, and grandma and grandpa are still living there, and why are they paying so much in taxes? We need to understand that. That's why I'm going.
Yeah, Mr. Dahl, I appreciate it as well, but Sue is pretty good at our sales. I mean,
Oh, yeah.
my old buildings seem to appreciate, I mean, instead of
Yeah. I
My
didn't mean to
newer
call
ones-
you an old person living in an old house. I
But-
apologize.
It's proven by the sales. I've done extensive, she helps me out every time I want her, or I watch sales, and fortunately or unfortunately, that's what they're based on.
Yep, yep.
And they just need to give us a call. I mean,
Sure.
when they, we don't get inside of a lot of properties, so we don't know what the interior is. So when we do our quintile work, we're basing it on the exterior.
Sure.
We put a tag on the door notifying them that we were there.
Yep.
But if they don't call us and don't contact us and have us come in the property, it's very hard for us to know what the condition of the inside is at. So if there's ever any questions or concern, a quick phone call to us to have us come out, and we'll go through everything with them. We'll show them what we have for value and depreciation, and we're certainly willing to redo that and relook at it. Then all they have to do is make a phone call.
Okay,
Okay?
sounds good.
Okay.
We're gonna just do a couple of samples.
Okay, after Sue has completed the county valuation determination, tax capacity is calculated, followed by tax calculation. So on this chart, you can see what impacts the levies in the tax base. You can see all of our taxing authorities listed there on the right side. And then all of the addition of individual tax rates together is the local tax rate. So I would like to review some of the definitions because these will be thrown around here in the presentation now. So the levy, which Sue had talked about, is the amount of money that a taxing authority needs to operate, and that money is raised through their property taxes. The tax base is the total value of taxable property within the community. The tax capacity is a parcel's taxable market value multiplied by the class rate for that type of property, and those class rates are determined by Minnesota Department of Revenue. The tax rate is the portion of the total taxable value of the property that's needed to get to those levy dollars, so it's the levy divided by the tax capacity. The total local tax rate, which I stated is the total of all the tax rates of the taxing authorities that are authorized to levy taxes on a particular parcel. I got a double duty here. Okay, this chart lists the actual 2025 and proposed 2026 levy dollars of all taxing authorities in McLeod County and the resulting percent increase or decrease in those proposed levies. Townships are listed on the left, cities, schools, county, and specials on the right. Bolded is McLeod County's proposed levy increase of 2.5% in that bottom right quadrant. of special importance is that McLeod County has the lowest proposed increase out of all 87 Minnesota counties. The highest county proposed increase is 15%, and there are 18 counties with proposed double-digit increases. I will pause for a moment for those of you to review the chart and give you time to look at your individual taxing authority information. Oops. That was dramatic. Next, let's review the 3-year comparison of McLeod County's tax levy by fund. The 3 highest fund contributors are revenue, which include expenditures for employee wages and benefits, capital, public safety, sheriff's office, and legal services and technology, road and bridge, and health and human services. The Minnesota Department of Revenue's 2026 preliminary property tax levies report indicates the average Minnesota county levy increase was 8.1%. So for payable 2026, if approved at 2.5%, McLeod County would be below the state average by 5.6%. And in payable 2025, for comparison, McLeod County was below the state average by 3.9%. So where do your property taxes go? McLeod County has 40.4% of the property tax dollars, which is similar to 2025. The schools decreased approximately 1%, and the rest of the authorities absorbed the increase. What does McLeod County do for you? McLeod County delivers a wide range of services to a growing and changing population. These services that the public have come to rely on. We are here for you to maintain our roads, maintain property records, protect the health of the community, protect the environment, provide justice, and provide protection. This slide compares the estimated market value, tax dollars, and who is paying the percent of each for payable year 2024, 2025, and 2026. Each chart represents one of the years. The data is provided by classification in the first column, EMV total, land and building, percent each class has of the EMV, the tax dollars, and the percent each class has of the tax. So if we just focus on the lower right-hand quadrant, which is the payable year 2026 information, you'll note that EMV total of almost $7,026,140,000 and a tax of $73,304,000. Within that quadrant, agriculture pays almost 19% of the tax, which is a decrease from payable year 2025. Residential pays almost 56% of the tax, which is an increase from payable year 2025. Commercial industrial pays approximately 21% of the tax, which is an increase from payable year 2025. And apartments pay approximately 4% of the tax, which is pretty steady. So what's interesting about these numbers is the final comparison with tax and values and who is burdened. So in the payable year 2026 quadrant, agriculture pays approximately 19% of the tax, yet their value is slightly lower than res, who pays approximately 56% of the tax. Agriculture's percentage of tax is somewhat comparable to commercial industrial, 19% to 21%, but ag has far more value, $2.3 billion. Okay, this is a new chart this year. The school districts in McLeod County, for the first time that I am aware, since I have been at McLeod County, all of the school districts represented in McLeod County decreased their values. I reached out to all of them. All but one cited a decline in student enrollment, which I think can be concerning to us. I had reviewed the Minnesota Department of Revenue data. 2026 school district levy decreases are certified for 108 out of 328 districts. so approximately 33%. And in 2025, the school district levy decreases were certified for 80 out of 328, and that was about 24%. So that shows, you know, it isn't just McLeod, yet this isn't a positive trend for us. This chart shows how changes in rates impact your tax statements. So I kind of wanted to highlight what happened with some people's tax statements according to the school district decrease. This parcel is in the township of Round Grove. The 2025 to 2026 taxable market values are very comparable, almost the same, and the classifications remain the same at residential homestead. So this example does show how it decreases the taxes. The authorities of McLeod County, Round Grove Township, and special taxes increased minimally. Yet when you note the bottom line of this tax statement at a decrease of 20.22%, that shows the decrease is mainly in the school districts, and that also when viewing a tax statement, you need to look at the bigger picture and not just say, oh, my taxes went down, you know, when in reality, some did go up, but the majority of that was due to the school districts. This chart compares individual tax parcels by classification for 3 years. On the left and bolded are the different classes: ag homestead, ag non-homestead, residential, and commercial. Bolded mid columns, you can see the tax increase and decrease and the tax percent change between payable year 2024 and payable year 2025. The tax burdens shifted from residential and agricultural to agricultural. Bolded right columns, you can see the tax increase, decrease, and the tax percent change between payable year 2025 and payable year 2026. And then the tax burden shifts back from the previous year. Listed here is a 3-year comparison of values, capacities, and rates. McLeod's local tax rate decreased from payable year 2024 to payable year 2025 by 1.7%. And if approved, the proposed payable year 2026, will increase from 2025 by 0.2%. I sort of resurrected this chart. The McLeod County 10-year average local tax rate is 54.099%, and the decrease in the past few years is attributed to the positive funding sources to our reserves and fiscal responsibility of the departments, committees, and the finance team. Since 2020, McLeod's rate has decreased 14.4%. In 2020, it was 60.777. McLeod County's 10-year average, which I stated already, is 54.099. The proposed payable year 2026 rate of 46.350 is 7.749% lower than the 10-year average. My last slide, which is the 2026 proposed levies per capita comparison, is essentially what each person in the county would pay towards their levy. So the great news for 2026 is that McLeod County ranks 29 out of the 87 Minnesota counties, which is a positive movement from our 2025 33 rank. Number 1 has the lowest per capita value, so a number lower is our goal. Mid-chart, the maroon bar represents McLeod County with 817 for each person. The orange bars on the left represent an average of 956. And then note the higher per person amounts from Renville and Sibley counties who have higher agricultural parcels and not as heavy populated. The tan bars represent similarly populated counties with an average of 871. And again, McLeod is lower. This tells us a story and is a greater example of the work that we've accomplished here. McLeod County is now in the second position, where last year we were tied for 3 out of these similarly populated counties. Again, there's opportunity for public comment and discussion on the auditor-treasurer portion of the presentation. Next, I'll turn the presentation to the McLeod County Finance Director, Colleen Robeck, who will review the McLeod County budget and levy information.
Thank you for coming this evening. This slide provides the annual budget process timeline. Budgets were sent out to department heads and outside organizations in early June with the directive to keep their operating budgets at a 0% increase. Budgets were returned to finance in early July and reviewed with the budget committee through August. The budget committee worked with department heads for potential cost savings and reviewed outside organization requests to keep increases at a minimum. The preliminary budget was approved on September 9th with a maximum of 2.5% increase to the 2026 tax levy. The levy increase of a little over $735,000 was allocated to the Road and Bridge Fund to keep this fund in compliance with the McLeod County fund balance policy. The final levy will be adopted on December 16th at the county board meeting. The total levy can decrease but can't increase from the preliminary levy that was set in September. This is also a new slide for this year, just to give people an idea of what, when I talk about fund balance or reserves, what that means. So county reserves are the accumulation of operating surpluses set aside to provide a financial cushion against unexpected events, stabilize cash flow, or fund future specific projects. Types of county reserves are unassigned or general fund reserves. They represent the uncommitted accumulation of operational surpluses and can generally be used for any purpose not forbidden by state or local rules. Committed or assigned reserves are set aside for specific projects or dedicated funding streams as determined by the Board of Commissioners. So an example of committed would be in the highway, our local option sales tax projects, those funds are committed, where the rest of the highway's money is assigned. And also Human Services Fund would be considered an assigned reserve. Restricted reserves are limited to external parties such as grantors, creditors, or state statutes or local ordinance. So solid waste is considered restricted, as well as debt service funds. The purpose of county reserves: for emergency funding, to have funds readily available for unforeseen events or declared emergencies. Cash flow stabilization, to manage cash flow during the fiscal year, particularly before major tax payments are received. Risk mitigation, to protect against economic downturns or unexpected expenditure fluctuations. And capital projects, to finance future capital improvements such as facility improvements or repairs without incurring debt. And there's also some examples on the bottom of what is an operating surplus. For the last couple of years, we had investment interest higher than anticipated due to interest rates increasing significantly, with more money to invest from the American Rescue Plan allocation that we received. Another example is employee wages and benefits coming in less than budgeted. Sometimes that is due to vacant positions sitting for several months before they're filled. Capital purchases can be less than budgeted, just maybe they get pushed off for a year or two. And then also market value credit dollars that we get from the state of Minnesota. It was determined to be appropriate to utilize county reserves to keep the increases to taxpayers minimal for the 2026 tax levy. Okay, now on this slide, these are the funds that impact the tax levy. The general revenue and social services funds are budgeted to use reserves to cover the difference in expenditures over revenue in 2026. The Road and Bridge Fund will build reserves to increase the fund balance to be in compliant with the policy. McLeod County's fund balance policy requires no less than 5 months of operating expenses be retained at year end. This policy meets the requirements of the Governmental Accounting Standards Boards and the recommendation of the Minnesota State Auditor's Office. On this slide, these are the funds that do not impact the levy. Solid waste will use reserves for capital purchases and recycling. The special revenue fund is made up of several funding sources with money allocated for specific purposes in separate accounts. And these funds are collected before any expenses can be made. This is the proposed 2026 revenue. This is a breakdown of revenue by fund. The general fund accounts for the majority and includes general government, public safety, public health, culture and rec, conservation and natural resources, and economic development. Road and Bridge is the next largest revenue source, followed by human services, solid waste, special revenue, and debt service. This is the breakdown of expenditures. The general fund accounts for the majority and is broke down by classification. General government is made up of the majority of departments, including countywide commissioners, court administration, auditor, treasurer, information technology, central services, county insurance, safety, elections, attorney, recorder, assessor, county buildings, veteran services, and license center. Road and Bridge is the next largest, followed by human services, special revenue, solid waste, and debt service. Here are the general fund capital requests that were approved in the budgeting process. And I'll give you a minute to look at those. They're a little over 2.7 million, with a major repair to be done at the courthouse building. Okay. Here are the rest of the capital expenditures that were approved in the preliminary budget for the Road and Bridge Fund, Solid Waste Fund, and Special Revenue Fund. The total capital assets budget is 5.9 million. A large portion will come from reserves without the need to issue debt. At year end, the county's outstanding debt for tax levy is a little over 10 million. It's 10,260,000. The additional debt of 2.4 million is for special assessments, with a total debt of 12,714,531. Here's a 10-year comparison of the tax levy. The average increase in tax levy over the last 10 years is 4.86%. And then here are some factors that affect the budget. Under cost drivers, the county bears the cost of underfunded federal and state mandated services. One example is the new Family Medical Leave Act that McLeod County will start paying in 2026 to the state of Minnesota. Service demands continue to increase for health and human services programs. Here, I'm just going to name a few: child support, family child care, adult and child protection, mental health, vulnerable adult investigations. Then we have WIC clinics and other services. As a service organization, McLeod County's wages and benefits make up 46% of its expenditure budget. Personnel wages and benefits for 2026 are budgeted at over $31 million. Cost of living increases are projected at 6.5% for 2026. Capital expenditures requests keep McLeod County buildings and equipment in good working condition. Technology maintenance is necessary to keep up with hardware and software requirements for the various programs that we use within the county. And all employees are required to complete training to safeguard against cybersecurity threats. Cost relievers. The county has budgeted 1.9 million to come out of a special revenue account for capital improvements that will not impact the tax levy. McLeod County continues to review staffing requests and looks for opportunities for efficiency. Focusing on long-term cost savings opportunities when possible is important to the county. McLeod County used American Rescue Plan allocation to build the Glencoe Highway Shop, new ag building. They did electrical and drainage upgrades at the fairgrounds, parks upgrades within the county, purchased armor radios, and funded the free fair for years 2022 through 2026. These projects were funded with federal funding that did not affect the tax levy. And the final one is lost revenue, which covers the county road improvements as well as covering the bond principal and interest on the bonds that were originally issued. Final payment on those bonds was made in 2025. If there's any questions.
Thank you, Colleen. At this time, again, we are extending public comment and discussion on the finance director's presentation. So what is next? The final 2026 McLeod County budget and levy will be considered at the December 16th, 2025 County Board meeting. And again, as a reminder, final levies can be set lower but not higher than preliminary levies. We thank you for your attendance. If you do have questions following the presentation, please contact me. If there's no further business to conduct, I will hand this back to the board chair.
Thank you, Connie, and everyone that contributed to the presentation. Last call for public comment. Hearing none, I'll use my authority as chair to adjourn the Truth and Taxation meeting.